Do you want to start a reselling business or do you want to sell some items part time? Just get rid of a few things, think you can't do it, think you don't know how, think it's impossible to learn. I'm going to show you that it is possible, it's not difficult to learn, and I'm going to show you 5 things that you need to do before you set up this business so that you can be successful. So, if you're interested in selling online, whether it's part time, full time, or just as a hobby and getting rid of some items or making a few extra dollars, there are a couple of things that you should do before you get going. There are 5 things that I'm going to tell you about that you need to do. And then we'll talk about where is the best place to start selling. So, let's start with the 5 things that you need: tools, places, so on, before you decide to start selling. The first thing that you need to know is, what's the name of your business? Whether this is a hobby or a full-time or a part-time business, you're going to be selling on venues. You need a name. So you need to come up with something that 6 months from now, you're not going to cringe at it and say, oh, why did I name myself that? So think about what you're going to name yourself. It should be relatable in some way to what you do or your life or your personality or your name or something that kind of makes sense. We use backroad picking. Why? Because we like to drive on the back roads and pick items at thrifts and estate sales, auctions, antique stores, places that are way off the beaten path. Therefore, backroad picking. If this is going to be a business and you're serious about starting a business, whether it's part-time or full-time, make sure you pick something that's sustainable and can grow with you. So not something like cool stuff, 1, 2, 3. No, come up with something that will work for you now and in the future. If you're not sure, then go ahead and hop into some sort of an AI and ask it a couple of questions about it. You might need to give it a little bit of information about you and what you're going to do, and it can help you come up with some names. The next thing you want to do is you have to figure out how you're going to get paid. So you get paid on the venues, through the venues into a bank account. They're going to process all your payments for you, so you don't have to worry about processing any payments. You're not going to be touching credit cards. You're not liable for any of that. But you have to be able to collect the money. You've got to be able to get that money out of the venue and into your hands. And the best way to do that is to have a direct deposit into a checking account. This checking account should be separate from your regular everyday checking account. It can be a personal account, it can be a business account, but it should be separate. So you need to open a separate account that you can be depositing this money into. This also allows you to have a place to keep your money for you to be able to source items as you're growing. Keeping your money separate makes the IRS happy. Oh, that's all of our goals, to keep the IRS happy. But it is something that you need to do. So think about a way to go open another account somewhere, whether it's at the same bank that you already go to. Just open a second account. I honestly recommend that because then you can transfer the money back and forth pretty easily. The next thing to think about is shipping. Now, there's 2 parts to shipping that you need to think about: supplies and how to weigh the items that you're selling. If you're going to sell online, you're going to be shipping items. And that means you're going to be packing them up and you're going to be weighing them because you got to print postage. So how do you weigh them? You've got to be able to have the weight fairly accurate to get that in so you know what it's going to cost you to ship an item. Whether you're selling the item with the customer paying for shipping or you're providing the item with the cost of the shipping built in and calling it free shipping, it doesn't make any difference. You still need to know what it's going to cost you. Now, I'm in Ohio, so when I calculate how much it's going to cost me max to ship something, I look at 90210. Why? It's an easy zip code to remember. I remember the TV show. It's in California. It's going to be about the most that it's going to cost. And then we adjust from there. That's if we're doing like free shipping. Usually we do calculated and we let the site calculate that for us. The other part of this is, once you've got that weight, how do you get it? You need to have a shipping scale of some type. Now, if you have a kitchen scale that does ounces and pounds, you can use that. If you have a bathroom scale that'll do ounces and pounds, you could use that. If you don't have this, I recommend getting on Amazon and buying an inexpensive scale. I will have one linked in my profile that you can look at. The other part of shipping is packing supplies. You need boxes, you need bubble wrap, you need paper, you need maybe some mailers. There's a couple of ways you can go with this. If you're going to be shipping priority mail, there are free priority mail supplies. If you do not use those, you can buy Tyvek mailers really inexpensively. But what I recommend when you're getting started is ask your family and friends to save their shipping supplies that they get when they order things for you. And just stockpile some of that. You'll get bubble wrap from them, you'll get paper, you'll get boxes, you'll get kind of what you need. And you can use that to start off with, at least for the first month or two, until you get a little established and you figure out what sizes you're going to need more often. And then you can look at maybe buying something and building kind of a shipping supply area to go with your business. The next thing to think about are photos. So you don't really need anything for photos. You've probably got what you need already. You've got a phone that you can work off of and you can take your pictures with your phone. But what you need is an area of your home that's got good light and a decent surface to work off of with a fairly plain background. So a table up against a white wall works perfectly. If you have a lot of wallpaper in your home and it's pretty busy, I recommend getting some poster board or something to put up as a backdrop. Poster board's easy, it's inexpensive, and you can get it in light and dark so that you have the background that you need. The lighting should be good. Natural light is awesome always. We always recommend natural light whenever possible. But if you've got a ring light for shooting any type of videos or anything like that, that'll work as well. If you had good fluorescent lighting somewhere in your home, that actually makes good lighting for videos and for taking pictures. LED bulbs are great for that. So you could just get a lamp and shine an LED bulb down on it, and it'll probably give you the light that you need. You may get some shadows with that. So that's something you have to play around with just a little bit. But you do need to be able to take the photographs, and you need somewhere with a fairly plain surface. So a plain table with a plain wall, or use some sort of poster board. And then finally, the other little tool that's a good idea to have is a tape measure or a ruler. Depends on what it is you're selling, but we recommend tape measures. Most people have one in their home, and you need to be able to measure the items that you're selling so that you can tell people what size it is. Now, the other side of this is that people often don't understand sizes in relation to what they're thinking about in their brain. So it's a good idea when you can to show scale. So if you're selling something small, if you sell a lot of small items, you can show them next to a quarter or a penny. Everybody knows what that looks like as far as size. If you're selling something tall and you're really having a hard time conveying it, you can put it next to like a 16-ounce pop bottle. So, a Coke or a Pepsi bottle next to it. Again, it conveys scale for you. You can also just take the picture with the tape measure in there as a visual, as one of your last pictures on the venue. This is really helpful to most people because when they see that tape measure, for some reason, it tends to register better than just hearing 10 inches or seeing the word 10 inches written out in the description. So those are kind of the 5 things that you really need to get together, make sure you're ready with before you start thinking about where you're going to sell and what you're going to sell. You may already know those items, but this will get you going and get you started down a good path to build a reselling business. Make sure you like and follow, because the next video we're going to talk about where to start your reselling business. What's the best venue to start on and sell your first few items? Talk to you later.